Welcome to the Spotlight on the Youth Advisory Council for the City of Grand Prairie and the Grand Prairie Independent School District. We're delighted to spotlight just a few of the young people that represent this Youth Council, and we're so pleased to have them on the dais today as we do a very special documentary. And we're very pleased, first of all, to bring front and center Mr. Doug Beek with the City of Grand Prairie's Park and Recreation Department Special Events. Mr. Doug Beek, give us an overview in your opinion.
Thank you, Ms. Ruthie. The newly expanded body of the Youth Advisory Council from what was originally set out by a city ordinance 5-7 years ago, I believe, has been expanded to 31 students, all the way from junior high students through the senior high, giving us a broad representation of the youth view, and we will be reporting to City Council in May, giving them sort of an annual report on the activities and issues from the students' perspective.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Doug Beek. And now, Dr. Rodriguez, Denise Rodriguez, would you please go your part on this program?
Yes, I'm Denise Rodriguez, and I am one of the Fine Arts Coordinators from the South Side. And in our job right now, we're dealing more with teachers and with parents, so when we got the opportunity to work with the Youth Advisory Council, we really snapped it up because it's so much fun to be working with a lot of students again. So this has been a wonderful opportunity for us, and we hope a wonderful opportunity for the students in Grand Prairie to learn a little bit more about the school district and also about city government.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. And next, Susan Crocker, a very important part of this.
I am Susan Crocker, and I'm the coordinator for the north side of Grand Prairie. And one of the wonderful things about the Youth Advisory has been the chance for them to work with the adults that make a difference in our community, and for those adults to see that some very creative ideas that have already been put into place are being put forth by the students on this committee. So the Youth Advisory has already made a difference in both policy set at the school board and policy set by the City Council.
Thank you very much, Susan Crocker. And now we have Christine Watoski with the City of Grand Prairie. And Christina, you're next.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. My name is Christina Watoski, and I am the Solid Waste Manager for the City of Grand Prairie. I've had the honor of working with Doug Beek, who is the Special Events Coordinator for the City of Grand Prairie and Parks Department, and also with Dr. Rodriguez and Ms. Crocker. It's been a wonderful experience working with them and working with the students. I don't get a whole lot of chance anymore in the solid waste position to work with students much, so it's been a lot of fun. And I've had fun working with the City Council and the city managers in showing the students the public service, and hopefully someday we may see some of these wonderful students as public servants, either as city council members or working as fellow officials at the City of Grand Prairie. So I appreciate getting this opportunity to work with the students. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina. And now, Lauren, you're going to be front and center, and you're going to give us a little bit of history of the council in your point of view.
I'm Lauren Schreiber. I'm a junior at Grand Prairie High School this year. Basically, the Youth Advisory Council was instilled as a collaboration between the City Council, the City of Grand Prairie, and the school district and the school board. Basically, each principal of each of the two high schools in Grand Prairie will appoint 6 students, and each principal of each middle school will appoint 3 students to serve on the council, as well as 2 from the Plus Center and the Alternative Education Center, which combines to about 31 students, give and take a few meetings. We meet quarterly, every quarter, and we discuss things such as long-range city planning, improvements on the district strategic plan. We talk about the quality of life in Grand Prairie and pretty much anything that pertains to youth and how we can be a part of that. And I'm very looking forward to how the council will improve in the future.
Wonderful, and thank you, Lauren. And next, Veronica.
My name is Veronica Brooks, and I am a senior at the Bowles Learning Center. We were introduced to the workings of the school district, city governments, and the city leaders who are instrumental in running of each. Under school issues, we discussed the district's strategic plan for the future and gave our inputs on such topics as code of conduct, the dress code, and our opinion on uniforms. We discussed these topics with members of the school board, our superintendents from the district. Under city issues, we met dignitaries from the city as the city mayor, Charles England, and city manager, Tom Hart, and city council member, Ruthie Jackson. We also had the opportunity to speak with visitors from the Ukraine, who were so impressed with our youth organization that they went home and started one themselves. The council learned that they had inputs in city and school issues.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Veronica. Now, Michael.
I am Michael Gill. I'm from Jackson Middle School and I'm in 8th grade. At 8:20, October 4th, 2000, a bus picked us up from school to go to the Education Center. There, I met up with my fellow students from many other schools and high schools. I also met the YAC advisors, Ms. Rodriguez, Ms. Crocker, Ms. Gutowski, and Mr. Beek. Mr. Beek, the city representative, gave examples on how student voices count. He then introduced Ms. Gutowski, also from the city of Grand Prairie, who talked to the YAC members on how important recycling is to our community. Then the students were told to introduce themselves for the icebreaker activity. Next, Mr. Rodriguez introduced character counts presenter, Miss Summer. Then in separate groups, we discussed integrity, knowing right from wrong, fears, challenges, opportunities, success, and doing the right thing. Miss Summers asked, "Why does character counts?" The YAC members replied, "To live socially constructive and personally meaningful lives." Then Miss Summer told us the 6 character components: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. The students agreed to treat others with respect. Then the YAC members also agreed to remember these rules at home and to be examples for their parents, brothers, sisters, and the community. Then we concluded that responsibility will be the most difficult pillar to follow and agreed to the following: watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits.
Thank you very much, Michael. And Oscar, you're next, sir.
I am Oscar Lozano from Adams Middle School. I'm in 8th grade, and I will talk about the 7th grade, the second Youth Advisory Council meeting. We started off the meeting with Ms. Crocker introducing Mr. Alexander, Assistant Superintendent. Mr. Alexander talked a little about his background in the GPISD and his duties. Then he made some comments about the dress code and attendance. Mr. Alexander asked for students' opinions on the help administrators can give to the city's students, and then introduced Dr. Barbosa. Dr. Barbosa congratulated the YAC members for being members of the Youth Advisory Council. He then told us that character counts was developed because at the time, our society seems to have lost the meaning of caring and honesty, and needs to rebuild its values. Dr. Barbosa then discussed the future plans for Character Counts program. Then Mr. Rideau, school board president, was introduced. He told us a little about his background and explained that the public elects board members for a term of 3 years.
Thank you very much, Oscar. And now, Miss Abby, you're front and center.
My name is Abby Heisig, and I'm an 8th grader at Truman Middle School. I was asked to tell you about the 3rd Superintendent's Advisory meeting. All of our meetings started off with an icebreaker activity so that we could get to know each other better and so we would feel more comfortable with each other. Our icebreaker was to tell where we were born and our favorite city to visit outside of Grand Prairie. This was a good icebreaker because our meeting dealt a lot with the city of Grand Prairie, how it works, and all that it has to offer. We then had Mayor Charles England as our guest speaker. He shared many things with us, including the new after-school programs and other joint programs with the city and school district. Then we had Councilman Richard Frigo speak to us. He encouraged us by telling us that we are the future. Then we had Council Member Miss Ruthie Jackson, who discussed many things, including this TV show that highlights many youth who do great things. We then broke up into groups and worked on assignments. We brainstormed on the positives and the deltas, which means change, of the quality of life in Grand Prairie, how to improve city services, and long-range city planning. Then we had Tom Hart, our city manager, explain how city government works. He helped us to see that we as citizens are like stockholders. We all own a little bit of the city. This was a good meeting because we got to see how much it takes to make a city run well. It also gave us a chance to know about all of the wonderful things going on in Grand Prairie.
Wonderful, wonderful, Abby. And now, Laurel.
I'm Laura Sluva, 7th grader from Lee Middle School. Dr. Reed started the meeting by asking students to do an icebreaker activity. The questions were, what did we do over the spring break, or my ideal spring break was. Once we answered these questions, Christina Wachowski spoke on what we were going to do for the day. Our assignments were to elaborate on things from our last meeting. The topics were report on quality of life, report on improving city services, and report on long-range plans for Grand Prairie. Then they broke us up into 3 groups, each student from different schools. Then after we did this, report all our ideas to each other group.
Thank you very much. And now, Ramon.
I'm Ramon Cavazos, and I'm a senior at South Grand Prairie High School. Over the past year, the Youth Advisory Council has developed and given vital input to creating a better city. While some short-term goals have been met, it is vital to look at the direction of the council and some of the long-term goals. The main underlying goal of the council is to keep true to the idea of student opportunities. It was for this reason that the council was created and must remain so. In the years to come, the council wants to continue to be involved in city and school district issues. However, we feel it's important to increase the involvement of school district and city leaders. Along these same lines, the Youth Advisory Council would like to expand to include state officials and congressional speakers. Already, plans are in the making to have the Youth Advisory Council attend the Dallas Youth Conference next school year, while some members of the Youth Advisory Council will be moving on to their next chapter in life, college. A new opportunity arises to include fresh faces, ideas, issues, and concerns. The Youth Advisory Council has already begun laying the tracks that will lead to a better city of Grand Prairie. It will not be long before the council is steaming ahead, facing the problems of tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Ramon. And now our final spokesman for this first presentation, Miss Julie.
My name is Julie De La Rosa. I'm in 7th grade. I come from Kennedy Middle School. We would like to thank Mayor England and City Council, Dr. Barbosa, and the school board. We would like to thank the following for all their help: Denise Rodriguez, Susan Crocker, Doug Beek, and Christina Watoski, and Miss Ruthie Jackson. But most of all, we would like to thank everyone for all the great food we had. Thank you.
That was the best part. Now, wasn't that wonderful? I think that our audience outside should give a round of applause to all of these boys and girls. And with the permission of our sponsors, we're going down the line one more time, and we're going to ask each student to look out into their camera and tell us, what was the exciting thing that you learned from serving on this youth council, and if it was an honor or if it was a drag, or you're glad to be asked, or anything you would like to say about your service in about a minute each. Would you do that? And beginning with Miss Lauren.
I think the best thing about serving on the Youth Advisory Council is really being able to interact with other students. So often you're stuck in your own school with your own friends that you've been around, and actually getting to see that there are others out there that want to improve the city just as much as you really is invigorating and really helps you feel as if you're a part of something. And being able to collaborate with other peers your own age, it's a very stimulating experience, and I had a lot of fun.
Wonderful. And would you do it again if you were asked?
Definitely, of course.
Oh, that is great. And did you leave a mentor by any chance? Did you mentor someone else maybe and pass the word along and say, I want you to do this next time if I can't do it?
Definitely.
Oh, that is great. All right, Miss Veronica.
I feel that I received just the knowledge of like being able to be with the adults and them actually paying attention to what we have to say. I feel that shows us great respect, that they actually do care what we think, and they're not just blowing us off because we're teenagers or even children.
Yes.
So I feel very privileged to do this.
Did the students at your school know that you had given this very special service? Did the word get around that you were important to the city of Grand Prairie and this youth council?
Yes, ma'am.
It did? Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you get any extra kudos for doing this? Did somebody come up and say, thank you so very much, Veronica, for doing this great service?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, all the faculty and staff congratulated me on doing it and thanked me for doing this.
Oh, that is wonderful. And you feel like that your time was well spent?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, let's go to Michael. Michael.
I also like collaborating with all the students, all the other students from other middle schools and high schools. I thought it was pretty neat to think of what other kids from Adams and Lee and Truman thought of what kids from Jackson were like, and I also wanted to meet new friends from other schools.
That's wonderful. And did your parents know that you were doing all this? Did they give you permission to serve as and this didn't interfere with your studies, and you lost a lot of time on this?
Yes, they knew about that.
They knew about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did they approve?
No, they approved. They thought it was pretty cool that I was getting to do such a thing for the city. Yeah,
That's great. All right. Oscar, how about you, young man?
Oh, well, I felt good being honored and getting to be a member of the Youth Advisory Council, and it's real cool getting to be able to meet all these new people and talking to all the kids about what we need to fix or what just needs to get better. And it's been a great opportunity, and anybody else would like to do this, I bet.
All right. And do you think that you've bonded with some of these folks? Have some of these become a lot better friends than they were when you met at that first real cool meeting when everyone sat in their own little corner? How about that, Oscar?
Well, yeah, I think I bonded with some people, and it's been fun.
It's been lots of fun. Okay. All right. How about you, Miss Abby?
I liked working with the groups and learning more about what's going around in our community.
How about the mayor? Were you impressed with the mayor? Wasn't he a dynamite person?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I got a yes, ma'am. You're supposed to say, you bet, because that's the way the mayor is. The mayor is real wound up about this program, as well as some of the others, and especially Mr. Dick Frigo, who helped us get this started. Okay, Miss Laurel.
I was very honored to be able to share my ideas because I know I probably won't get another chance in my life to do this. So.
And what effect did this have on your parents? And do you have brothers or sisters that knew you were doing this?
Yes, they did.
What did they think about it?
They thought it was great that I have a chance to be able to do this.
Okay. Did that make you more important in your personal circles that you travel in? Did someone give you a little bit more respect?
Yes. Yeah.
That was a reserved yes, wasn't it? Okay, Ramon, you're next, young man.
I thought it was very interesting to see how to adults some solutions just don't seem as obvious as they are to people of a younger generation. And so for even those of us that are in high school, I think we offered a different perspective and some different solutions. And it was even interesting to see that even we've changed since middle school, and so even the younger people from middle school have even fresher and sometimes better ideas than those of us in high school. And it's interesting to weave them together and see what you can come up with.
That's great, great. And how about you, Miss Julie?
My favorite part was getting to know everybody that came from all the different schools, and just getting the attention from the grown-ups, actually hearing what they have to say and letting them hear what you have to say. I thought that was pretty cool because they were listening to you, and you don't get a lot of that at school. They just boss you around, so I thought that was cool.
And as they said in Ever After, I came for the food. That was the good part, wasn't it, Julie?
Yes.
That's great. All right, we're going to start back around one more time. We have a little bit more time, unless Dr. Rodriguez wants to come up and stand wind us. I'm going to start a game with Lauren. Lauren, if you were king,
Okay.
if you are queen, and you would wish for the council next year to look at something really important, what do you think are some of the future things, one or two, that you'd like for the next council to look upon and recommend to the city?
Well, I think definitely throughout the school districts, we're really looking at, I'm also serving on the Character Counts Advisory Board,
Yes.
so I'm seeing a lot of how character counts has been implemented into the school district, and I think we've been taking great strides to implement this program, and I think we can just do it even more. A lot of the elementary school kids have gotten very excited about it, and I think taking it another level into other activities throughout the high schools as well, and teaching people to have good character is really a very important thing, more important than any academic education could ever get you, I think.
I think that's a wonderful, and that's almost a philosophy of life, isn't
Almost.
it? Almost. All right. Let's go to Miss Veronica. Oh, wait just a minute, Veronica. I believe we have Her Majesty here, Dr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. I just wanted to take a moment to thank Dr. Barbosa and certainly Vern Alexander, and for the wonderful cooperation we've gotten from the city. They have been so excited about this program right from the very beginning, and they were so excited that we had the opportunity to come to Ms. Jackson's show and to let you know what we're doing with the youth, and that it's not only the school district, but that it's also the city that's concerned about what they think, about what they want, and about some of their ideas. So it's been a wonderful opportunity for us, but I do want to thank the city leaders and certainly all the people from the school board. Stretch Rideau, the president of our school board, came in and spoke to us, and we've had so many wonderful speakers. So thank you so much for making this really happen for us. Thank you.
Dr. Rodriguez, before you leave the set, and keep your microphone, please, do you think that there's the possibility, even the remotest, that we will continue this council program next year with emphasis on all of the good things that are being suggested?
You bet. We already have plans underway for next year, and we certainly will keep it going as long as we get the cooperation from the city and from the school district, and we already have those promises. So we will keep going, and we're going to get as many kids trained in city matters and school matters as we possibly can. So yes, we're looking forward to next year.
And would Susan Crocker like equal time?
I know she would.
Oh, Susan Crocker, you better come front
So
and
my
center, because we're
partner,
gonna pass
Susan
it.
Crocker, is coming right up to the set right now, and here
Yes.
she comes.
Miss Susan.
I'm going to say ditto. No, it really has been a unique experience, and I think that both the students and the adults involved have learned a lot from this process, and I'm hoping that it'll lead to better relationships between the city and the school district and the youth of our community, because I think that's it's important that we get youth involved in school district and city policy making so that we educate the policymakers of the future.
Thank you very much. And now let's get back on our track. And Veronica, you're next. What's on the mat that you would recommend that the Youth Council take a look at next year?
I feel that next year's council should look at like more spaces for the schools, getting it where it's not so crowded and it's more one-on-one based with the teachers and the students. Okay. And I feel that we have a very educated community, and I feel that all of our youth will lean towards something like that.
Wonderful. Michael?
Well, I think there should be less portables.
All right. All right. Anything else?
No.
You think that's the bottom line?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Michael. That was well stated and from the heart, I'm sure. All right, Oscar, you're next.
Well, I think the Youth Advisory Council is on the right track, and it should keep going, and it will get better, hopefully, and, well, it's just great right now, and nothing should be changed.
All right, and I didn't ask you about your parents. Your parents are really for this?
Yeah, they're happy to know that I'm getting honored and everything.
Yes, and how about the balance of the time that you spend doing this? Does that make you have less time for your academics?
No, it's still balanced, and I can do everything, so it's okay.
You bet. Thank you. That was what we wanted to hear, Oscar. How about you, Miss Abby?
I think they're doing fine with everything they're doing right now, and just
you want them to keep going, don't you?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. How about you, Laura?
I think that they should do the same because I thought this year was great, and I think that you can't go better than this because it's great. So do the same.
Okay. And you have anything else to add to that now? We don't want you to miss anything on this program.
Nothing.
Would you recommend it to your best friend?
Yes, I would.
Okay. All right. Ramon?
I think the council has been right on track, and that they've made a vast improvements even since last year, and I think they're going to continue doing so. And I think what's going to help the most is just expanding and bringing in more students and more leaders and people from the community. And once they begin working together, I think we'll see even greater changes.
All right. Miss Julie?
I think they should expand the minutes we have in between the classes, because we only have 3 minutes, and some people don't have enough time.
Okay.
If they go to the restroom, they come out, and they only have like a minute to go to their class, and I don't think that's right. And that's all I have to say. That's
going to be a good recommendation. And if anything else comes to mind, I want y'all to be ready, because I'm going to call up Doug Beek now. See, Doug Beek is the master of the city as far as pulling this group together. He is the one that sets up the meetings and everything. Come on up here, Mr. Doug, and let's hear from you and get to where they can see you, please.
Well, I'm big enough they can probably see most of me anyway.
All right.
No, this has really been wonderful. This is great to get the feedback and get the summary from the kids that we've had this year. We will have new students next year, and it's really exciting to be part of this from our standpoint too. Everything I think we can reiterate what they felt, getting their voices heard. It's great to hear those voices. It's very important for the council. You were one of the driving forces to get the youth council reinvigorated, and we've done that, and we want to continue with it. It's just exciting to be part of this, and it's important, I think, to get their input, because it's not just lip service. We're not just going through the motions to do this.
All right, stay right here with me because I'm going to ask you one more question. I know that this is basically the students coming up, but who does the basic bottom line curriculum? When you get ready to do a meeting, who arranges for the place they meet, the time, and all of this, and the basic curriculum and what they're going to look at?
That would be their other advisors and myself.
Y'all get together as a committee?
Right, we get together as a committee and decide that. We try to put changes in it. We don't want to do the same old every year, even though you've got different students. We're still trying to make it interesting, try to get their ideas, get to stimulate them to speak from the heart and give some thought to this. They may or may not live the rest of their lives in Grand Prairie, but they're here now and they've got important views, and we want to capture those ideas.
All right, and recently you were invited with a youth commission member to go to a very special meeting at Dallas County Court. You want to tell us about that? We have about 2 minutes.
Yes, there were over 100 people there. It was really a great honor to be recognized. The Grand Prairie Youth Advisory Council was recognized for their efforts this year by the Dallas County Commissioners Court. We were brought front and center, and it was really quite an honor to be part of that whole program and ceremony.
And who was your representative from the Youth Council?
That was one of the gentlemen who's not here, Michael Collins, I believe,
yes.
Who was from Grand Prairie High, who's not here today, but Michael Harris, I'm sorry, not Collins, Michael Harris, let me get that right, so he's listening, or his parents are, and he got to be presented before the Dallas County Commissioners Court, which is really something.
And he got to have his photograph made with the court, and we're going to get pictures of that, and we're going to pass it on to the Youth Commission, because all of the ones that were honored there that day, it was very special to have the Youth Council with us, and we thank you for answering our call and our invitation to come to that. Is there any other thing that you're going to plan for next year that your committee doesn't know about?
Well, we are. They've touched on the idea of getting some state representatives in, some other officials to give another perspective on it, which I think will be very interesting, again, because these people too are interested in what youth have to say, and we're just providing this forum for such a purpose.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of those that are responsible for this very special documentary, and especially all of the 4 sponsors of this that had only one I guess you would call it a training session prior to this presentation. So we're all flying by the seat of our britches here today, and I thought it was wonderful, and I salute all of the youth that are here and want to thank you for this time, and especially all of those that are sitting in our viewing audience that are just really making faces at us so that we'll do real good stuff for this group. And this is Ruthie Jackson, and we are just so responsible for this very wonderful historical documentary, because it really is, history is, as we, each and every one, live and do. And you all are truly making history in Grand Prairie, Texas. And thank you.